Oh man, all I gotta say is to everyone who is in the live stream today, I think you already know what's going on over here because oh, it's about to get crazy up in here. We're talking about making some potatoes with sour cream, butter, chives, bacon, and I think it's about time. Woo! Now I just need Heiko to come over here with his fish and kind of complete the meal. Whoa, 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 what happened today? That was really good fun. Right out of the gates, almost the exact same setup as the day before MITO, red to green move. MITO was the one that we missed the 70%, big move to the upside, but APOP, similar pre-market moves, and then it consolidated around the key 2.5 area, one of my favorite areas to go long, and then it just absolutely ripped. And this time, luckily, we were on board. I traded it 3 times. Unfortunately, all 3 times I was under allocated. So I think our average position size was about $970 when trading APO, when my ideal allocation right now in the small account challenge is around $1,300. So I definitely left a lot of money on the table on poor allocation alone. The first trade, I thought it might have been our biggest percent gainer, but it wasn't. It was about a 17% move. But cumulatively, trading today was my biggest green day of the small account $25,000 challenge. So that is really sweet. It's nice to see some momentum and growth in the challenge account, even with that under allocation per trade. So that's pretty cool as well. Right behind me, I already have the trade APOP, all 3 of them fully documented. This is what it looks like. And remember, if you're already using TradeJournal, please keep in mind that it's still in beta mode. And it probably will be for the next 2 to 3 months. It's missing so many features, and the cumulative stats tab isn't even built yet. So there's a lot that still needs to be done. But if you start documenting your trades, you still get full stats on that trade. And before you know it, TradeJournal will have its official beta launch, and hopefully by then, the stats page will be fully working as well. So in the future, you guys are gonna be able to see my whole entire small account challenge. I have it right now set up on the right portfolio inside of TradeJournal. It won't be long, hopefully till I am able to link to that portfolio so you guys can see all of the documented trades there. It was a lot of good fun today, and it was just super nice, kind of finishing before 10 o'clock. I think our last trade was like at 10:04 or something like that. And it was kind of, pushed a little bit. I didn't have to trade, but I was under allocated, and I kind of had enough cash in my account because of the under allocations to take a 3rd trade. And it worked. It wasn't a big gainer. It was like 2% or something like that, but still, it was so hard not to kind of try to squeeze the 3rd trade out. It was just so clean today. I love the fact the markets aren't going crazy, and I like that pre-market we can identify 1 or 2 or sometimes throughout the day about 5 stocks that are really the ones you want to trade. And today APOP was 100% the lead gapper, and it was such a clean day. It was so much fun. So let's go to the charts now and check out APOP and a few other stocks that I think are worth reviewing. And if you enjoy this content, definitely go ahead and hit that like button. You always make my day. And if you're totally new here and you want to learn more about trading, I would love to have you join the channel. Definitely go ahead and subscribe. I will see you then tomorrow for the next live stream. I guess that means it's chart time. All right. Here we have APOP. This was the lead gapper of the day. So let's go ahead and scroll back a little bit, kind of get the view for what we were looking at right before the market opened. Boom. Okay, so right around here. And then I'll scroll here in on the 5-minute a little bit. We got the daily over here. So APOP, 8.9 million market cap now after the market opened, and 3.2 million shares outstanding. That is a small amount of shares outstanding. The float was even less. So this thing had explosive potential. Not to mention, it's right between $2 and $7, pulling back to 2.5. I don't know how many times I've said on this channel that 2.5 is one of my favorite turnaround spots for these stocks, especially on a first screen day with big volume and a catalyst. Oh my God, it's just like everything, all the stars align perfectly on APOP. And I think maybe on the live stream today, it wasn't super clear why I entered at about 2.2. I felt like it was a bit aggressive potentially. And I didn't maybe walk it through ahead of time in my mind or out loud as good as I could have. So I apologize if it was really quick because this thing, when the market opened, it it went really fast. So quickly, they had a pharma grade cannabis deal, APOP. So nice catalyst, any sort of deals, collaborations, mergers. Those are some of my favorite news. So let's go here and fast forward a little bit. We traded this 3 times. And the first trade was a red to green move. This was the big percentage gainer. The first trade was about 17%. The second trade was like 10%. And the third trade, I don't know, I think it was roughly 2%. So let's quickly go here. Market opens, and this was crazy. This first candle, big selling volume. It was about 11% candle. Whew, I was like, man, this is heavy stuff. Next candle just absolutely dips down. And this was pretty tough because this was green for a while. So I was thinking, you know, we had a bit of a bull flag here. Maybe this is a quick dip to the downside, and then we're going to rip. I was really about to get into this trade. So I was just watching this one. I was like, oh man, this thing's moving quick. But, you know, elite gapper, I'm just reminding myself, everything about this stock is exactly what we're looking for. And then the next candle, quick pull to the upside. We went all the way down to 2.35. I was actually kind of impressed. I didn't think we'd dip that hard. And the next candle, I think this is right around where I get in. I see the selling momentum slowing down. I know 2.5 is a key area. I didn't really want to wait too much longer for this red to green move. Although MITO, I should have waited basically 15 minutes since the market opened. So it's tough with these red to green moves. And I was saying it during the live stream. I was like, these are tough to trade because you don't know if it's going to, you know, rip up in 3-5 candles. 1 minute candles, or if it's going to take, you know, a little bit longer. And if it takes a little bit longer, maybe it's just going to keep pulling back all day, and it's dead. You know, it's a really tough call. So this one turned around really quickly, and you don't see this all the time. It rips up to past 3, and I was going to sell past 3. That was kind of my goal, but I thought it was going to get halted, so I decided to hold a little bit longer, which is a little depressing because this thing dips down on the next candle right around 12%. So that's a big move when you're long. You're like, oh man, I was just up 12%. So the next time it bounces, I go ahead and get out of this trade at about 2.96. I probably, you know, could have got a better exit at 3.14, but overall we got the meat of the move, and it was a really fun trade. And on the 5-minute chart, here you go again, a little bit more better view here. So we had kind of a doji candle to start off, not really doji, but just, you know, a big volume candle. The next one, you know, we have 2 big green candles break to the upside here. And, you know, I was thinking maybe, you know, we're kind of forming a bull flag here. I should probably go ahead and get aggressive, but I don't really like the fact, you know, I always say this, I've typically only 2 trades I can make a day. Today we did 3 trades, but that's just because we under allocated for each position. So that's a big reason why I didn't want to re-enter here. And I also felt like, you know, maybe I'm just, you know, all psyched up and I'm entering this trade because, you know, I have all these emotions running through me. So I decided not to trade this flag pattern. This one does break out to the upside, and I do kind of miss this move. And it was kind of tough because, you know, in hindsight, it's super obvious, but even at the time, it was a perfect flag pattern. We broke above this big 2.78 kind of resistance area. We got the 15-minute and the VWAP moving in. We elite gapper. So it's kind of like, you know, there's a lot going for APOP for this flag pattern. Plus, we're in that first 15 minutes of the day. Whew, I got to breathe for a second. So much I want to say. Plus, we're in the first 15 minutes. So, you know, this is just, there's everything about this is kind of going the right direction. This thing rips up 30%. So this could have been a phenomenal second trade. But again, yeah, I was a little bit hesitant. Buying this pullback, 1 minute pullback back to $3 because we broke $3 probably would have been a good trade as well. 20% profit could have been had. So this could have been traded many times. You know, we could have easily done like 5 trades on APOP alone. The next trade, we kind of pulled back to this $3 area. I was waiting for a dip below 30s. Because we were kind of toying in the 30 area for a little bit right here on these candles. And I was like, okay, if we go into the 20s, I'm going to buy. And that's what I did. I bought here. We were red on this trade for a little bit because it dipped all the way down to 316. But luckily, it pulled back. And then, you know, here's a shoulder, big resistance at 4. I didn't really want to wait for a, you know, potential break past the former high. So I kind of, you know, got out on this spike at the former shoulder, which was a pretty good trade. I mean, this was about a 10% trade. I will never complain about a 10% trade. You know, left maybe 3, 4, 5% on the table on this one. Then I was basically done trading, and eventually I get this little pop right here because I was thinking if $3 cracks and at 2.95 or something like that, it slows down, selling momentum slows down, I would probably like to do a quick little trade here. It might be, I knew it was probably going to be a smaller trade. I knew it was going to be only like maybe 3-5% trade. So yeah, I mean, perfect entry and perfect exit would give you about a 5%. We didn't get a perfect entry or a perfect exit. So, we made much less in this one, about 2%, but still overall kind of a nice move. And then, after that, after about, 11 o'clock, APOP is kind of dead. And even by like, honestly, 10 o'clock, APOP was kind of done. And now it's just consolidating. So pretty fun run on APOP. Long-term chart, a lot of these spikes have not held. So that's something you want to keep in mind. A lot of these, big runs, former runners, just, they're 1 day, maybe 2 day spikes at best. Yeah, a lot of points of resistance here. So I thought, this could be a lot of back holders, recent reverse splits. I don't know. I don't want to, gamble too much here in hoping that it's going to break forward. To me, these were fairly good risk reward trades and, fairly calculated, and I like these. But anything, even this run, potentially past 4, to me, I felt like I wasn't trading. That would be more of a gamble. So I, didn't do it. But all these, I felt, there was good, decent risk reward. And, today it worked out. Yesterday with MITO, we kind of got skunked a little bit. MITO, I had to manage my risk. And unfortunately, I totally sold on MITO at the worst spot. This is really similar, red to green move. So we start red and we go green. And, I buy here thinking that this is going to be the big run to the upside. But, I get stomped out right here on this red candle. Actually, a little bit later, about three candles later. And it's so horrible because, like 10 candles later, this thing runs up like 70%. And I was so devastated. I was like, no, I can't believe that happened. But you just don't know, the stock can start out here and then just crawl lower. And then, you get in some hard times. But again, look at this one. I mean, this gaps up really nicely too, 80% gap up. And guess what? Around the 2.5 area, it finds the bottom and then just rips back up. So MITO, really, really similar to APOP. What was the gap on APOP? What did I say that was? Or did I even say it? APOP was a bit less, I remember. Yeah, 40%. So really, really cool stuff. I would love to see a bit more of these kind of 2.5% pullbacks. Sometimes, we'll go a week without seeing them, but when you do, it's really nice. And that's the great place to get aggressive. Going back to MITO for just a split second, this was yesterday, so Tuesday, and then this was today. This is a great example of, why I don't hold these typically overnight. And usually by 11 o'clock, we are done trading. So this is 11 o'clock right here. And after 11 o'clock, there was only bad news with MITO. And a lot of these small caps, they're not usually the greatest companies, or they're a biotech. They might be working on great stuff, but as an investor, it's really tough with biotechs because these companies need to, spend a lot of money for research and development. And a lot of times you have some really rough long-term charts. Just check. I don't know. Yeah, okay, this long-term chart with MITO isn't really that bad, but it's kind of the classic, gap downs, who knows, dilution, and 3 years from now, this price could be maybe $2,000 because they've done so many reverse splits, and that's a really kind of standard thing to see with biotechs, and why it's really tough to, I think, invest in them. And again, as a day trader, I'm not really holding these overnight. Intraday, we're totally done with trading. I have no open positions in this small account, $25,000 gap and go challenge account. So that's a really nice thing about day trading. You don't have to worry about really what the market's doing overnight. It's really relaxing to kind of be out of these trades, but you just got to keep in mind, like, it's 11 o'clock. After that, a lot of these tend to fade. Sometimes there's those big afternoon rallies, but that's kind of a different trading style again. So let's go to ARCL. That was our second big gapper, or wait, no, ARCT. ARCT, I wrote that down wrong right here. So this one, pre-market, it was kind of the lead gapper, or the secondary lead gapper, just because it was moving up so much, but I didn't really want to trade it. I was never really too stoked about it. And I'll tell you why. First, it's not really in the price range I want to be trading. It's not in the market cap range we want to be trading. So 272 million, that's not really what I want to be trading. You can see APOP is 10 million. Actually, it's 9 million. So that's much, much nicer market cap. The float is nice. So the shares outstanding are 15 million. I think the float was even less. It typically is. So that's kind of good. But then, I really don't like seeing this chart pattern where it's just selling off pre-market. I sometimes call it the ski slope. because it's just a big slope with a cliff at the end. And that's not a slope you want to go down. I did say though, that, around $15, this could be a really good trade. And the reason I said that is because, $15, guess what? It's a former resistance area, and former resistance areas are classic new support. So this thing opened up, pulled down about 6%, and around 15.23, guess what? It finds big support and absolutely rips 20%. So this could have been a pretty good support line bounce trade. And, part of me kind of regrets that I didn't have a limit order there, but at the same time, it's not really what I'm looking for. I would have maybe traded it with our IRA account, because my IRA account, I always look for these kind of setups. So I don't know, maybe I could have put a limit order on that account, but that account is already fully allocated right now to different limit orders. And yeah, so we kind of missed ARCT. Quick little heads up though, this one is they had a catalyst corona vaccine pack that they entered. Which, is kind of interesting, and they have a pretty healthy long-term chart. So, they're kind of really building up some momentum here. Who knows how far ARCT is going to go? I'm not here to tell you if it's going to go up or down, or, where it's going to be in the next week or two. For me, as a day trade, it just wasn't really that interesting today. And that's really all I have to say about ARCT. All right, so let's wrap up with 3 other tickers that kind of popped up on our chart. GLBS is the first one I want to talk about. This was really like halt mania today. This thing was halted so many times, I lost track. I think it was like 5 times maybe. And there was no news that I found. I have no idea why GLBS was absolutely running. It was the first green day, so something to consider there. Oof, that's a rough long-term chart. Look at this, finding some big resistance here at 1.2. $1 is always a big resistance area. First green day, it could have ran to maybe 1.7, maybe it still will. But for now, seeing some big resistance right here at about 110. I don't know, this one was a really tough one to trade. Maybe getting aggressive here, especially as we broke 0.7 would have been the ticket. It ran 50% from there. But it's a sub dollar. It's not really something I'm typically looking for. So I kind of left it alone. As the stats on it, 4.7 million market cap, 4 million shares outstanding, are pretty attractive though. Dollar volume though, under 10 million, and it's already past noon. That's not really too attractive. Didn't have that much volume, but still pretty cool stock, GLBS. Another cool stock that I want to talk about, OCUL, that kind of just popped up on our watch list, is kind of a similar situation. So this one might be a really interesting potential swing trade. They have generally good, their chart pattern looks quite nice because it kind of holds this area, kind of formed the bottom here, and now it's kind of inching its way up. And, $7 looks to be a big potential breakout area. So let's quickly go here, and you can see that, this thing gapped up a little bit, pulled back to about 5.5. And 5.5 is just kind of similar to me when it comes to those $2.5 areas. To me, I sometimes identify them as tremendous support, and then look, this thing rips 23%. A little bit more of a slow mover. Buying this, on some pullbacks, or just getting aggressive here in the morning, and taking profits near that $7 would have been a really good ticket, especially because we've been channeling in this area for so long. $7 is a pretty well established resistance area, and if we break this area and maybe have this thing could really run. I have an alert here at 7:39. Maybe we will break this area, and maybe we will be trading OCUL in the next few days here. I'm not here to really tell you if you should do a swing trade or not. I don't really know much about, actually I don't know anything about OCUL fundamentally, but on a technical standpoint, this could be a really interesting play. Not to mention this nice big spike in volume here. It's really good stuff to typically look for. So I don't know, it could be a really interesting move. And something also I wanted to say on OCUL compared to maybe APOP or MITO or even GLDS is, this one kind of holds its highs pretty nicely. So, these moves that, spike up, typically continue to keep moving, while let's see, where is it again? APOP, you have these spikes, but they don't hold, they kind of sink down right away. And another one, which I was thinking could be a good overnight opportunity that kind of popped up on our watch list, CTRM, kind of similar situation. We have these, it's a former gapper, but every time it spikes up, it kind of sells off. And you want to be a little careful with these because, this one did have good financial news, good catalyst, but yeah, that kind of, big resistance here at 2 and the 180-day moving average here at 2.5. It's just, this is tough, and this could easily, if you scroll back a little bit, one of the last big moves, it sold off all the way, and the next day it went down another pretty big percentage. Let's see what this is. 22%. So, you know, what happens if similar situation here, this thing sells off another 22%, it's close to all-time lows. What happens if it cracks all-time lows and goes to 0.5? So it's really tough to hold these things overnight. You don't really know which one, you know, the big winner is going to be. Intraday, this thing just, you know, is absolutely just getting crushed, just keeps on selling off, while OCUL, where did that one go? Right here. Kind of just, you know, to me, if you hold it overnight, it has a little bit more potential. It doesn't seem like it's just going to disappear tomorrow, like CTRM. So I don't know, kind of interesting on, you know, different ways to view swing trades. For me, I like to focus on our small account challenge, where I'm just trading that first, you know, 2 hour and a half of the market open from 9:30 to 11. To me, it's really nice to be out of the market by then. And I like to just focus on one thing at a time. So for example, I've been trading the support line bounce for many years now, and I feel like I'm just getting really comfortable with that one. And that's one of my most profitable trading strategies. I applied to crypto, I applied to stocks, and now just, you know, years later, I'm focusing on the gap and go breakout strategy, which I'm doing this $25,000 account challenge with. So, you know, I think with trading, it's really easy to always think, you know, the grass is greener on the other side. Maybe I should get into options. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I should start trading commodities, or, you know, God knows what. I mean, there's tens of thousands of different stocks. There's small cap, mid cap, large caps, and then you could trade derivatives on all those. And I don't know, to me, it can be extremely overwhelming. So I like to really just, you know, narrow down my scope and focus on just, you know, a few little things. And to me, that's small caps. That's stocks between $2 and $7. That's, you know, floats under 10 million. And then you're looking for just that main 1 or 2 lead gappers on the day. So that's what this small account challenge is all about. Remember, guys, if you enjoy this content, don't forget to leave a like button. If you're totally new here, I would love to have you join the challenge and see you in an upcoming stream. So definitely consider subscribing. Yeah, that's everything for today. I will see you then tomorrow. Like always, guys, stay safe and make some awesome trades. Ciao, ciao.